Kellie.
So
Good to be
excited you're,
here.
yeah, I'm so excited you're here too. How do you like my Lime Ninja mug?
Now that is fancy. Not only is it custom, but it's reflective. Look at that.
And it's also my Beyond Protocols mug, depending which hand I'm drinking from.
Look at you.
So
So
today is,
multi-promotional. He's got his Lyme Warrior, he's got his Ninja, he's got his Beyond. Like, good to go.
I know before you were on, I'm looking up how to do a Beyond Protocols cap. So just like you guys have. So nice.
Maybe you'll catch up.
I'm running hard. I'm running hard. So I think this is like episode 291, 292, maybe 290. I kind of lost track and got confused in my numbering system in there. So we're somewhere there. I've been doing this a long time. We brought you on board because we after we started talking, I and you and Aurora even wanted to do more to help people get motivated because Lyme disease is mostly a long slog,
It is that.
right? For people who are chronic. The people who it isn't, right? You know, you get the
Lucky
treatment,
them.
antibiotic. Hey, man, I feel better. Hey, bless you. You're so lucky. But when it turns into chronic Lyme, there miracles happen, but it's one of those stories where, you know, how did you become a overnight success? Well, it took me 20 years and then overnight kind of thing.
Right. Nobody wants to hear the long, arduous journey. They just want to say, how did you do it? How did you get
That's right.
better? But let's tell
Tell
them.
right. Tell me the magic bullet. So there are two parts to what we're going to be doing here. We're here to inspire you and tell you, yes, you can get better. You can heal. Now, does that mean that your body's completely free of Borrelia and the other critters? We don't know. Nobody really knows at this point. Probably not. But you've got herpes in you all the time. You've got all those nasty other viruses in you all the time that, for the most part, stay dormant. So as long as it's playing nice and letting you be you, like you do you, boo boo, and I'll do me, then then we're all right.
As long as you feel good, you can say weird stuff like that, like you're good to go.
And that's the point. And we truly believe everybody can get better. Everybody. It's just a matter of sticking with it, finding the right team, putting together the right team, and having the right mindset. And so, what we're going to be doing is bringing you interviews with people who are winning with Lyme disease. Some of them are symptom free, some of them are mostly symptom free, and some of them just are happy to be alive and are fighting every day and still have symptoms, but the symptoms no longer define them. They've sort of had a spiritual awakening, for lack of a better word, and they're winning. So if you're one of those kind of persons, people, what anyway, whatever that word is. If you're somebody who's winning with Lyme disease and would like to share your story with the rest of the world, please send me an email at support@lymeninjaradio.com and we can have a conversation and get you on the show. We do it asynchronously. I record these separately from this just so we're not tied into coordinating three schedules. Three busy people scheduled is usually a bear. So it's hard enough to get Lauren and I on the same show at the same time. So, Lauren, I know you haven't seen this before, but this is my interview with Kellie Koedel. Let's have a listen. Now, I know there's probably another 1,000 hours we could talk. There's probably a book and a movie to be written about this, but we want to give you the story in a pithy, short version so that you will be left inspired and motivated to keep going on your personal Lyme journey. So, Kellie, what were you doing before you got Lyme?
So, I was successful. I was busy. I was doing all the things that I feel like everybody's doing. And I thought I was happy. I don't really know that I knew what happiness was. And yeah, so I'm really happy. Honestly, I feel like Lyme was both the best and the worst thing that ever happened to me. Glad to be here.
So, what was the darkest moment in your kind of the first part of your Lyme journey? What was the lowest?
That would be hard to pinpoint one specific one. I would say there were quite a number of years of darkest moments, and many of those actually came before my diagnosis. I was a very healthy person. I am an engineer. I was a college athlete, and
What was your sport?
Both water polo and rugby, actually, in college. I was very athletic
and tough. If
and
you don't know anything about those sports, you have to be tough to play both of them. Now, water polo looks so calm, but underneath the water, they're killing each other. And rugby players are crazy, just in a good way.
I think beating Lyme, you got to be tougher. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Okay.
Lyme journey, the Lyme battle is definitely harder than anything else I've ever done. And it was years of not knowing what was wrong and why is my body not working the way my friends' bodies were working. And there was a lot of despair in there. Acknowledging that hey, this is my new life. But again, I will say for those listening in, there's a lot of light and brightness out there. I am happier now than I ever thought I could be. I do not have 100% of my energy or strength back, but I am mentally fierce.
That is clear in talking to you. And what was the diagnosis a turning point, or did it happen after there's like, when did, instead of just staying in the despair or actually going downhill, when did things like level out and begin to shift and saying, you know what, I can beat this sucker?
Yeah. So I think the big change for me was my first ever meeting with my energy therapist and now dear friend, who day one told me that Lyme was the best thing that ever happened to her. And my instinct initially, and we've laughed about this many times, was to want to punch her in the face. How could anyone possibly say something like that about this illness? And it was really cool. About a year later, it just kind of dawned on me one morning that Lyme is the best thing that ever happened to me.
And why is that?
It taught me who I am. Sorry, I get emotional talking about this.
Yeah, of course.
It's an emotional thing, but
yep.
Nothing will ever get in my way.
You're unstoppable now, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. And so what are you doing now that you're whatever percentage you are better, clearer mind, right? Fierce mind we talked about. And fierce. Whatever energy
back
levels.
To fierceness.
Yes.
Done with crying.
Fierce tears. I think it's okay to have fierce tears. You're a competitor.
I am.
I coached women for 20 years. I've seen a lot of fierce tears.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's something that happens a lot. It's nothing to be, right? It's not weakness at all. It's not weakness at all.
Yeah. And I'll go back to, was I happy before I got sick? Not really. I feel like things would upset me, just silly things that were really trivial, that did not matter, and now that I faced Lyme, I beat Lyme, right? I am a Lyme conqueror. There are so many warriors out there, and I cannot wait for more people to join the realm of conqueror.
Ooh, I like that.
And I can honestly say there's nothing that I fear. Anything I come against is, well, I've been through worse and I have excelled. And no matter what gets in my way, I'm going to be better and I'm going to be fine. And I will say, realizing that you can beat this, you are not your illness, you are not a victim, you have the power to make yourself a better life, to realize I didn't even know I had a soul. Okay. And Lyme saved it.
Amazing. I don't think there's anything more to be said than that. Kellie, thank you for sharing your story. You're an amazing woman.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to encourage anybody listening, take detox very seriously, take mold very seriously. And one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is EMF. It's all around us. It has a really big impact on our body and our health. And there are things that we can all do to make ourselves better. Believe you can do it, and then do everything in your power to make it so.
Kellie, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. So, what's your reaction to that interview?
Oh, it's so good, right? Like I feel like mold is the silent holder back of everybody who is like the wall that they're like, well, I did the antibiotics, I did the herbals, I did everything, and then you say, well, do you know anything about mold? And usually it's no, and I just or even people who do know about it and they got re-exposed that they weren't conscious of. Well, oh, there was a rainstorm, I didn't know there was a leak. Like I had a great call with a woman, and I was like, okay, now that you remember it, you can go back after it. And it was almost just as disabling as Lyme to deal with mold. So I think that's just such a powerful piece is always say, if I'm taking a back step, if what I'm doing isn't working that used to work, like what are those external things like that? That's such a powerful piece all the time.
Yes, and mold and Lyme are like a pack of wild dogs. It's like one will attack you from this end and distract you, and the other gets you. And it can be either one leading the charge. Lots of people with Lyme then get exposed to mold and succumb to mold, or the other way around. People who have mold exposures all of a sudden seem to be, susceptible to catching Lyme and the other tick-borne illnesses. They are
Yeah. With
dastardly
mold with
cousins.
me, like I just lost the ability to think. Like my brain fog, like with Lyme, was like mediocre. My brain fog with mold was off the charts. I couldn't use the brain power to figure out that it was mold. It was so intense. So I always try to use that as like a signal for people. If you are so neurologically compromised, like do not skip looking into mold.
Yeah, it's 100% the case.
Yeah.
100% the case. Now, I want to shift gears here. One thing I was thinking when we were, yeah, exactly, shift gears. When I was listening to that is, have you ever watched any of those YouTube videos where like a musician will react to a drum solo or a guitar solo or something like that? Have you seen those videos?
Maybe not about music, but
Okay,
same
so
stuff.
this was a guilty pleasure. So I had a cancellation last week, and I was watching drummers react to what's called the Buddy Rich Impossible solo that he recorded when he was like 60. A, the guy recorded it when he was 65, so he's an old man, and B, he had a heart attack during the solo and finished it. They had to take him to the hospital after the concerts.
Is that it
Anyway,
was so good or it was so bad? I'm
I think
not sure, but
he was such a consummate performer that he really got himself. It was a big concert, real chance to show his stuff and his band off and the type of music he loves. That he pushed himself much harder than his heart and his age allowed.
clearly.
But it was no, it was incredible. No, it was absolutely incredible. And so you watch. It's fun to watch the drummers watch another drummer because those stuff that we might just look over. You see their eyes get big and they're like, "Holy smokes!" It's like, how does he even do that? How does this ancient old man? He's like, he's better than I'll ever be, and I'm 35 and he's 65. But my point is, like, maybe like we can pause some of these interviews and have a little discussion about what what the people say because there's so much gold in that interview, right? There's so many turning points, there's so much insight, there's so much wisdom, there's so much inspiration there that maybe we can do little things. We'll give each other the power to pause it and make a comment or something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I
Would
like
that be
it.
fun?
Sounds
I like
good.
that
Yeah.
idea. So you're watching us generate the show in real time here. So
And tell us if you hate that idea, right? Like leave us a comment if that's the worst thing you've ever heard or if you like it.
okay, I'm willing to be wrong with this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun. All right, and speaking of mindset, LymeWarrior.us is promoting Primal Trust, which is more than just a mindset program. It's also a neuro retraining, limbic calming, however you want to term that, like all those combined, which is so incredibly important because if you give up, you give up. It's not that you don't have dark days. We're not talking about that, but it's like your system needs to be calm enough to be able to make some decisions, to be able to see that the glass has a little bit of water left in it and it's not completely empty. We're not talking about being Pollyanna, right? It's not like, oh, everything's great. I'm a happy person. Lyme's the Lyme's the best thing that ever happened to me
It's a tough place to get to that area.
It's after, right. It's after you pass through the eye of the needle there and look back. And that's why her initial reaction, I saw you smile when she said, I wanted to punch her in the face.
I think everybody who listened to that, who's in the trenches, wants to punch her in the face too. But
exactly. And that's right. But to hold out that as a future is like someday you're going to look back and say, this is the best thing that ever happened to you. And when you're in the middle of it, it's like, you're smoking some kind of stuff left behind in the White House.
You are
stuff.
Rocking the crack.
yeah, absolutely. You got the Lyme Warrior crack pipe going on. That's one thing you will not see in the merch store. I promise that. Oh, no, so tell us before we get too far off the field, tell us about this program.
Yeah, so it's, like I said, it's really more than just like being positive. So I have had such a hard time with autonomic responses. My body reacts, I don't have control over it. And your body's in that fight or flight. And it has been shown that cells do not recover in fight or flight. You lose the ability to self-heal. So that's why this program was recommended. We've done our due diligence, really looked into it. And it's so amazing that you can help put that body back into not fight or flight, put yourself back into a healing state with your mindset. So that has been such a cool thing. And we love this program. It's at home, self-guided, and you can do it whenever you want at your pace. So if you hit that wall and you're not ready to go forward, take a break. If you're ready to jump in with both feet. And people have just been really having such an amazing response to it. And, like I said, it's not a cure to Lyme, but it's fixing what state you're in to give your body that opportunity to heal.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you are offering this and that it's interesting because you chose this program. Well, you didn't really choose it. It's like members, your audience.
Yeah, the community came to us and said, you should look at this. Like, we see that you love DNRS. Like, that's been a really great program. But if you want one that's really got longevity to teach you the tools to be able to continue to stay in, in a good state, this was what they were all recommending to me. And so the community knows, that's why we're going to the patients. They know how to get better, and we're going to listen to them.
Awesome. Lauren, thank you. If you're interested in that program, head on over to lymewarrior.us and scroll down just a little bit on the page and you will see the section of the website that teaches you about it. Go ahead and check it out. And I encourage you to do some sort of program. If it's not this program, another one. The vagal nerve, the polyvagal nerve theory, the cell danger response theory, all these type of things point to our body in non-healing mode. It's really, it goes back to the Chinese yin and yang. I hate to oversimplify it, but it really is on some level that simple. You're either expending energy and breaking down, or you're conserving energy and recovering and building back up. And if all you're doing is fight, like kill the disease, which we want to do, but you're not going to recover. And you have to heal to begin to feel better again. Your brain needs it, your heart needs it, your liver needs it, your muscles need it, your mitochondria needs it, your dog needs it, your cat needs it. When you get better, everybody gets better around you. All righty, we're coming in right under 20 minutes. I think we got the job done. If you have any feedback for us, just send us an email to support@lymeninjaradio.com, and I'll be sure to answer that. If you want a snazzy sticker for your mug, this is just a sticker on a black mug, send me an email too, and I'll send one of those out to you. We got a few other goodies there too that might stick in the envelope. I don't have a hat though. That you have to go to lymewarrior.us. So Lauren, thanks so much for your time. Thanks everybody for listening to us. So happy you're here to share these moments of inspiration, and be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and send this on to somebody who needs to hear this message. You're in on Facebook groups. You've got a friend who's got Lyme disease. There's somebody out there who needs to hear a positive message once a week about, yes, you can heal. Yes, you will heal. There are people who've done it, and you can do it too.
I love it. I will see you next week, and we'll hear another great story and hear all the different ways to get better.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Lyme Ninja Radio is a purely public broadcast and is not intended to be personalized medical advice for any individual's specific situation. Each individual's medical situation is unique, and Lyme Ninja Radio should not be relied upon and or considered as personalized medical advice. Lyme Ninja Radio is not licensed to render medical advice and should be considered simply the public opinion of Lyme Ninja Radio and its guests. Recommendations on specific treatment options are not intended to address any listener's particular medical situation. As always, contact your physician before considering any new treatment.